Hey folks, Mike Murtis here. Today we're going to be talking about pickups and a few other things on this episode of Gamer Logic. Let's go. Hey everybody, what's going on? It's been a while and I thought I would do a video on some recent pickups, semi-recent pickups, and just kind of catch up with you guys because it's been a long time since I sat down and did a video for the channel, and it's mostly because I've just been super busy. So why don't we get right into it and start talking about what I've been up to as well as some pickups. And what I've been up to is still with the magazine, Old School Gamer magazine. We are currently just wrapping up our March issue. It's March 1st. I believe that's gone to press, so that issue should actually be showing up for digital folks, digital subscribers, as well as printed subscribers as well. So this is the January issue of Old School Gamer magazine. If you haven't checked it out yet, did a couple great reviews in here, some great products that came across my desk. The cool thing here in the Game Gear coverage I did was this Game Gear NES joystick by Head Colors. Very cool, well built, well constructed. You can hear my thoughts about it in the review, but other than that, I also had a great opportunity to do an article on video game music on vinyl, and this was really fun to write, really fun to take the photos of all the different records here and just talk about some of the great companies like Data Disc, Ship to Shore, and cover what some of their releases are. So if you haven't checked that out yet, definitely do. Great issue. Next month I have a few things in that magazine as well, the biggest being Metal Storm, which I'll actually talk about in a little bit. And yes, some of this stuff was sent to me, some of this I purchased on my own dime. It all depends on what it is. So I guess we'll start from left to right, so we'll jump all over the place. First up, this is something I was really looking forward to, and this is the Art of Mana, Secret of Mana, Seiken Densetsu for the Japanese name for the series. Really great book. This is from Dark Horse. This is available now. You can get it from Amazon, and there is just so much great artwork in this. And I know my light is a little bright, so this may not all come across, but this is very cool. The back of it comes with a very cool print of the artwork from Secret of Mana, Seiken Densetsu 2. Very cool book. I highly recommend that you pick this up if you haven't yet. Just great artwork, character designs, all of that. I'm sure there's some really detailed reviews out there that you can check out, but overall, great book. I had some business to attend to up in Oshkosh, Wisconsin about a week ago, and stopped in a video game store there called Start Over Video Games. So shout out to them. Very cool store. Very cool checking that place out. A lot of great games, a lot of great collectibles. Picked up a variety of things. One of the things I picked up was actually a few issues of Game Players magazines. Now, I have a few of these, but I love picking up like 80s and 90s video game magazines that I may have missed during my Buried in the Nose session of Nintendo Power Magazine. Not just because I was subscribed to Nintendo Power Magazine, but in the 90s I just didn't have a bunch of money. I was a kid, I was a teenager, didn't have a lot of funds, but it's great just going back and going through these issues, and it's really cool. I now work with Bill Donahue, who's worked on PlayStation Magazine. He actually worked on Game Players. He's worked on a ton of different magazines across the year, and he is now a part of the Old School Gamer magazine team. So for me, it's cool going through these issues and recalling some of my memories when I borrowed magazines from friends or did get an opportunity to pick up these magazines from newsstands, because I always loved like Bill Donahue's writing. And it's just funny that, now I send my articles to him and he looks them over, and he's the one that often edits them. So it's very cool, kind of full circle for me, but super neat. I really love finding these old retro magazines. There's some great stuff in here. And I don't know, I just love picking up old school magazines. This we're not going to talk about. Picked up a couple strategy guides lately. Again, this is from Start Over Video Games. I picked up the guide to, what is this? This is 13? Yeah, it is. Final Fantasy 13. I recently picked up the guide for. Man, talk about a game that disappointed the living crap out of me when it first came out. I'm really interested in giving it a try again. I don't know what it was about this game. I know it takes a really long time to get into it, but I just don't have, I didn't have the patience to play it. Now that I'm kind of revisiting games, Final Fantasy 13 is one that I want to revisit. I'm trying to get as many Final Fantasy strategy guides as I can. I've had a bunch of them for years. I recently reacquired one, which I'll talk about in a bit. But yeah, I figured I'd pick it up. The price was right for it, so I grabbed it. Speaking of games and series that I have not completed but want to, this is the guide to, put it in the camera frame, Mike, geez. This is the guide to Castlevania Lament of Innocence, which I'm looking forward to giving this game another chance. I've started it up several times, never really got into it. I'm going to try to take my plunge into a true 3D Castlevania game and give this a try, but I figured, hey, the guide was there. I didn't have the guide for it, so why not pick it up? So I'm going to give it a go and see if I enjoy it, but it's nice that I have the guide for it now. So next up is a Nintendo's Player's Guide. Here's my thing about Nintendo Player's Guides. I'll go to half-price books, I'll go to a bunch of different places, right? And you know what'll always happen to me? I'll pick up like Mario Mania or the NES book, the NES Atlas, I think it is. And I'll be like, oh, I don't have this one. I don't have this one. I'm almost positive I don't have this one. Sure enough, I get home and I have it, and I gotta go return it. I have a ton of the late NES, early SNES strategy guides, specifically from Nintendo Power. And this time, when I went over to Start Over Video Games, I finally picked up a guide I don't have, and that is the guide to Super Mario All-Stars. Awesome. You know what? I really liked Super Mario All-Stars for Super Mario 2, the true version of Super Mario 2, otherwise known as Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, but I was just happy that this was finally a guide that I didn't have and that I could pick up. I think the only one I'm really missing now is the Street Fighter 2 Turbo Guide. I don't think I have that one. I'm pretty sure I don't have that one. So yeah, I don't even remember right now. But yeah, I'm just happy to pick this up, and the price was right for it again. All right, so what I hold in my hand is the Final Fantasy VII Strategy Guide. Not the remake, the original Final Fantasy VII Strategy Guide. Funny enough, my mom sent me a text and she was like, I was going through my file folders and I found this book and I think it might be yours. And I was like, what could that be? I wonder what it is. So I was like, well, can you send me a picture? And she sent me a picture, and sure enough, it was the strategy guide to Final Fantasy VII. This is my original strategy guide to Final Fantasy VII that I picked up back in the day. I picked this up from Borders when that store was still around before it went out of business. And it's still in pretty good shape after all these years. Part of the reason is my dad would always laminate the covers to stuff, so this thing is actually in pretty good shape. The inside pages are all intact. Doesn't look like there's any coffee or anything spilled on it, but man, we'll talk about a blast to the past. You know what, the remake coming up, I really want to revisit Final Fantasy VII again. There's just so much I have to play, so much going on right now in my life that I don't know if I'd actually be able to do it, but still, nevertheless, super cool to have my original Final Fantasy strategy guide. Another item I picked up from Start Over Video Games was from Age Tech. I always used to call them Agitech. I don't think that's right, but it is Bass Landing. I'm a sucker for fishing games, funny enough. I have a whole bunch of fishing accessories. I hate doing actual fishing, but this is a lot of fun. And this is cool. This is for the original PlayStation, and it comes with the actual controller. It comes with an actual reel, which is super freaking awesome. So can't wait to play this again. Actually, I don't remember who it was, but in high school I played this with somebody. It was high school, right? What year was this? Yeah, it was 1999. I played the crap out of this with a friend. Maybe it was my friend Rick, or maybe it was my friend Joe. I don't remember, but it was so much fun. I'm super excited to play this again. Here's video game vinyl, actually. I picked up from Press Start Video Games in Appleton, one of the few days I was up there, and this is awesome. This is from Datadisc, and you know, funny enough, I had the opportunity to pre-order this and pick it up when it first came out, and for whatever reason, I opted not to. I think because I'm pretty much sticking to just the numbered releases for Datadisc release. They don't put them out too often. They're, you know, well worth the investment because the music sounds great. 9 times out of 10, the games they pick for the soundtracks are awesome. I tend to only pick up the records for games I really enjoy the music for, but this kind of popped up in my face and I couldn't avoid grabbing this one. But great soundtrack, really awesome. Glad to have that in my collection. Here's actually a set I got before Christmas. This is super cool. This is the Mega Man 1 through 11 soundtrack collection. You have 6 total vinyl records here, which is awesome, and all of them feature just this amazing artwork. It is so cool to have the majority of the Mega Man music on vinyl. I can't wait until they do a Mega Man X collection. I'm going to be pumped when that happens. Let's see, can I do this without making it fall over? Of course not. So we're just going to do that. All right, we're down to our last few things here. Metal Storm, the collector's edition, was sent to me. Now, if you're interested in what entails the full collector's edition of the Retrobit release of Metal Storm on the NES, I highly recommend you check out my review of it in Old School Gamer magazine. But this was awesome to get, awesome to play, experiencing the fully translated version and having an official NES complete in box copy of Metal Storm. I actually have a complete in box Famicom copy, but this is a game that notoriously is bootlegged. It's really hard to find a legit copy on eBay without the possibility of getting ripped off and getting a reproduction cartridge. So fun to have, great to have in my collection. A couple more random video games that I picked up while I was out was, got this from Start Over Games. Okay, this isn't a game, this is a cleaning kit. But I have a weird thing about picking up cleaning kits for systems. Here is the SNES Cleaning Kit. Very cool. Don't have too many Mega Drive games. And I didn't think I owned a North American copy of this, but it turns out I did, which is unfortunate. But that's okay, because the box art is really freaking awesome for this, and I love the look of Mega Drive cartridges. This is Strider on the Mega Drive. And full box art, instruction manual, the game, which is freaking cool. And not too much more to say about that. Here's something I got as a trade, and I am super happy to have it in my collection, even though it's missing the manual. And as you guys probably saw throughout my channel updates and stuff, that I've been playing the MSX version of Vampire Killer, otherwise known as Castlevania. And that's it right here, guys. This is the MSX2 version of Castlevania Vampire Killer. Really, really happy to have this in my collection. Again, no manual, but if you've never seen an MSX cartridge, this is what it looks like right there. Very, very similar to the NES in terms of graphics. But other than that, it's a very, very different game. A lot of the same mechanics, but it's more like if Castlevania and Castlevania 2 kind of came together. That was the kind of experience you got. So you can see me finish that. I spent a bunch of time playing this once I got it in, and had a blast with it. One last thing from Start Over Video Games. is Game Brain from MTV. If you check my channel, yesterday I actually uploaded the full VH rip for this, but this is cool. I found this, decided to pick it up because I love video game tapes on VHS, just because you never know what's on them, as well as what is actually covered in them, maybe unreleased games, some weird tips, or that 80s, 90s nostalgia attached to it. And Game Brain definitely has that, but this covers Blasto, Armored Core, Fighting Force, Final Fantasy VII, Crash Bandicoot 2, Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey, Treasures of the Deep, NFL Game Day 98, and Tomb Raider 2. So really cool to pick this up. Check out the full rip. I did put it through an upscaler, so I upscaled the original, that's not even 480i, I don't think. I think that's 240, maybe. I took the original VHS signal, basically, and upconverted it to 1080p through two upscalers, a regular video upscaler, and then my FrameMeister, just because my video capture device was flipping out with this. So it looks decent in the upconversion, but of course it's coming from VHS and a composite signal, which is kind of low key in terms of quality, but still cool to check out. So if you haven't checked it out, go check that out yet. Last two, and then we're out of here, folks. Picked this up at GameStop recently. Had it on my list. This is the Mega Man Z and ZX Legacy Collection. This has got Mega Man 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, ZX, and ZX Advent. And these were awesome games, but notoriously hard. You actually play as Zero in most of them, if I remember correctly. And I was just pumped to pick this up because they've actually put kind of an easy mode on here. These games kicked my ass, and I don't think I ever finished them. I got frustrated at the point where I never wanted to finish it. So now it's actually nice to have a version that I can play. Played a little bit of the first one. The upscaling on the graphics are so, especially on a 75-inch 4K TV. It is kind of, you know, yucky, I guess I could use for a lack of a better word at the moment, but totally playable, responsive, and fun, and great games. And finally, on the anime side of things, I picked up the recent release of City Hunter. This is Season 1, Set 1, and I've never seen City Hunter before, actually. And it's funny, it's, you know, 80s anime, and of course the lead character is pretty much a pervert, always trying to get into women's pants, but hey, it is what it is. But it's an interesting show, enjoying taking a look at the different art as well as the different episodes. Is it my favorite so far? Not really, but it's getting there. It's neat, that's for sure. So other than that, guys, that's a little bit of everything, so I hope you enjoyed catching up with you guys on some of my pickups, and until next time, take it easy.